Welcome to the Airgun Show. This week we've got the match-winning Arms TX200 underlever on test, but first I reach for the night vision to tackle some tricky rats on the farm. Well, we're back on the farm. We were here a few weeks ago for a recce. Managed to bag a few rats. There were more than I actually expected to see during daylight hours. I've been back a few times since with night vision, managed to account for quite a few more. This evening I've got the pitch black hunter night vision unit. I've actually got Nick Wenham's unit, he's the inventor, and he has fitted that with a recording unit so we can actually record through the lens as the action unfolds tonight. I've also been entrusted with Nick's cherished Virak HW100, which the unit's fitted to. I don't tend to like hunting with unfamiliar kit, but I've been out and practicing in the garden, been shooting some good consistent groups, so I'm happy that the kit's shooting sweet and I'm getting on fine with it, so hopefully we can put it to good use against these rats this evening.
It might not be dark enough to satisfy the envy pursuits just yet, but I can't wait to get started. As a digital unit, the pitch black functions in daylight too, so there's no reason to delay. And why would I, when the first rat of the evening is tucking into the grain?
Brilliant, that was a nice early one, out during the daylight. Goes to show also that the pitch black also shoots fantastically in the daylight. It's not just a night scope, and certainly delivered the goods there. Well pleased with that.
The pitch black might not look like your typical hunting optic, but it's certainly doing the job. Designed from scratch by lighting and electronics boffin Nick Wenham, it's perfectly optimised for airgunning use, with no unnecessary cost. As the footage recorded through the unit shows, it's certainly doing the trick for me this evening.
Another early one. Great stuff, we haven't even got any baits out yet.
On the subject of bait, I've brought a smelly attractor tonight, and it's time to get it out at my chosen locations.
Right, well I've earmarked a couple of what I think should be productive areas. I've seen rat runs there and they've got safe backstops. And I've baited with liquidised cat food. Last time we used liquidised sweet corn, and to be honest with you, the rats weren't as keen on it as I hoped they would be. The reason for using it was because there were cats around and I didn't want them burying their noses in the rat bait. So we'll try the cat food tonight. If the rats don't like it, or if the cats do, we'll go walk about and see if we can find some rats somewhere else.
With the light starting to fade, it's time to get ready for action.
Oh, I've just paced out the range there. I know that's exactly 14 metres, so that's spot on with primary zero. I can aim straight at them when they're there. Brilliant. Right, I've got my bait spots where I want them now. Hang on. That's typical. Another one that wasn't even on a bait spot either. There you go. Another good clean kill. Right, well, what I was trying to say then was that we've got the bait set out where we want them now, so it's really just a question of sitting back and waiting, but it's nice to have some in the bag already. One of them was ever so close, I think the shot was only probably 7 or 8 metres, so I had to give it quite a lot of holdover, but still a welcome addition to the night's tally. I have noticed, scanning around with the NV unit tonight, that the recording unit is causing quite a bit of lag and flicker in the image, but it still looks good enough to me. It's plenty good to shoot by, so we should get plenty of good footage anyway. The light's really going now, so hopefully we'll start to see a few more rats moving around. And obviously the darkness means that we can take advantage of the fact that we're hidden and we can see the rats moving through the night vision unit.
With another rat in the bag, the unit is proving its worth. Watching on a screen rather than using a scope means shooting head up. You'll see light shining back on my face and a lot of glare from the IR emitter. But don't forget, we're using an infrared camera that picks up light that rats can't see.
Brilliant. One on the bait spot at last. It worked.
I keep my sights on the bait spot, hoping for more, only for another rat to appear. Nowhere near it. Typical.
That one wasn't on the bait spot, cheeky little sod. But at least there are a few moving around. I think they're just spoilt for choice here. There's so much grub around the farm that my offerings aren't really standing out. Well, although we had a few early ones, it's not really working like I'd hoped. But I have noticed a few rats moving around at the back of the barn, and they're slipping in and out of a cavity in between a steel partition and the actual barn wall. I'm going to try and have a peep up through there with the night vision and see if we can pick a few off. I know that there are straw bales at the back, so there'll be safe shots, so I'm going to have a peep.
And straight away I'm rewarded for my change of location, with one rat emerging from cover, followed immediately by another.
That was well worth a look. They obviously felt safe in there, but we've picked a couple off. Good stuff. The rats really aren't giving themselves up on the bait spots. We were worried about the cats hanging around and pestering us because of the cat food. Well, the rats aren't really that interested in it either. So it's gone a bit quiet in here now. I'll have a bit of a wander around, have a look around the rest of the farm. I want to have another look around the opposite side of that cavity, because we've shot rats on this side and it extends along the other side of the barn. I can shoot back towards the bales from the opposite side. There may be one or two in there, so we'll go and have a look.
Taking the pitch black on a walkabout, I'm fast getting the measure of this nifty unit's capabilities, growing quicker in spotting eyeshine and subsequently confirming my quarry, and more confident in taking shots. That's 2 more accounted for, but there's more ground to cover yet, both outside and under cover. With the bait spots not proving the draw I'd hoped, I'm taking the hunt to the rats and keeping my eyes peeled as I go. At least there's no shortage of rats to pick out. Here 2 break cover at once, presenting me with 2 potential targets. With 1 down, the second rat isn't hanging around, but I don't have time to dwell on it as I catch up with another of his verminous clan just a moment later. The tally's growing nicely now, but I'm going on the move one more time.
Right, well, although I've got the pitch black NV unit, that's switched off now, and I've got my headlamp on, because quite frankly, night vision's not great for finding your way around when you're on the move. And although I've been here and had a daytime recce, I've been here several times before, and I know my way around fairly well, it's a bit dicey on this side of the farm. There's not so much light spilling across from the buildings. I can't see my way around easily, so headlamps on, and I can see where I'm putting my feet.
With the headlamp on, I can attend to the retrieval of shot rats. The farmer isn't going to appreciate rat carcasses on his feed, so I try to be thorough.
Testament to just how accurate and effective this kit is. This rat, like all of them this evening, has been taken with a headshot cleanly between the eye and ear. They may flick about a bit when they hit, but that's just a nervous reaction. That pellet's gone straight through their brain box. They haven't known what's hit them, and that's just what we're trying to achieve. Really good, clean kills. Well, it's been another productive evening. We've certainly made a good dent in them now, and the pitch black hunter's really proved its worth. Close range, mid range, I've been picking off these rats cleanly and effectively with it. I was surprised out round the farm where there was more external lighting. I wasn't getting quite as much eye shine as usual, but that's, I think, because the scope dims down automatically when there's more external light, but by and large it's performed excellently. One thing that night vision isn't so good for is the picking up. So I've got the headlamp back on. Apart from stopping me falling down holes around the farm, it's also really handy for odd little tasks like this. So that's something I'd certainly recommend carrying. Also, a pair of gloves that are far more substantial than my normal shooting gloves. Rats carry some horrible diseases. I've managed to find a shovel on the farm which has helped to keep my hands away from them. But I always keep a sturdy pair of gloves in my kit bag, just so I never have to put my hands close to rats. It's something you really wouldn't want to do, and I certainly wouldn't encourage anybody else to do. So I've got a lot more of these to pick up now. I'm going to get on with that. An exciting night targeting scaly tails under the cover of darkness. And now, it's over to the Airgun Show news.
This is the Airgun Show news, brought to you by gunbid.co.uk. A new air pistol competition for young shooters in and around Lincolnshire is set to become an annual event. Organised by the Hodgson Elkington Junior Sports Programme, the 6-yard air pistol shooting challenge was open to anyone aged 16 and under.
Jacob Lord took gold
in the expert class, with Laura Bates picking up silver. Ellie Porter won gold in the enthusiast class, and the silver went to Leon Gallimore. Megan Gilks and Zach Kirkwood also won awards. Daystate has recently announced that anyone who buys its acclaimed Wolverine B air rifle can now add a lightweight carbon fibre bottle as a £150 optional extra. The super strong bottle is lighter than the standard 400cc aluminium tank, but increases air capacity to 480cc. If you already own a Wolverine B and want a carbon fibre bottle, return your gun to the Daystate factory and they'll fit one for £200. If you shoot an FAC rated airgun and your certificate is up for renewal next year, don't leave your application too late. That's the advice from Basque, which has warned that 2015 will see licensing applications hit their 5-yearly peak. The spike in numbers could see police forces struggling to work through the backlog. So the organisation recommends getting your application in 12 weeks before your certificate is due to expire. Don't wait for a reminder from your local police force. It's now free to sell your items on Gunbid. The gun auction website has scrapped all its basic listing fees, including the final value fee. Now, the only fees you pay are premiums to enhance your listing. If you've got hunting gear to sell or buy, head to gunbid.co.uk now. And finally, the controversial shoot before you shoot amendment to the general license has been dropped. Natural England considered adding a requirement to demonstrate you've tried non-lethal methods such as scaring before picking up an airgun. But listening to public opinion, it decided to leave the license as it is. Basque warned, however, that there were new restrictions to the license in Scotland, which could affect shooters. Head to the Basque website for details. That was the Airgun Show news.
Top-end Springer up for review this week. It's the Arms TX200 in its compact HC or Hunter Carbine guise. The TX200 was actually the first serious airgun that I owned back in my teens after upgrading from a battered old Webley Vulcan, and its fixed barrel accuracy and smooth operation completely transformed my shooting. That was more than 20 years ago, and the gun's undergone numerous refinements since then and now shoots like a tuned gun straight from the box. The test gun has a dedicated right-hand stock, which is just an excellent handle, and a left-handed version is also available. There's a nice deep scallop behind the pistol grip, which makes for really comfortable shooting, and the cheek piece is plenty high enough to give good eye alignment when you're using a telescopic sight, and that's just as well because this gun doesn't come with open sights. The woodwork on this walnut stock version looks absolutely beautiful, and it's got some lovely grain. There are good patches of checkering on the pistol grip and the fore end, and they're absolutely razor sharp, so they give excellent grip. The fish scale pattern with floral embellishment, it's probably a matter of taste. Frankly, I think it's a little bit over elaborate for a gun with such nice clean lines, and even looks a little bit old-fashioned. Typical of Air Arms, finish and engineering are excellent throughout. The bluing is flawless with a mirror-like finish. The top of the cylinder's got good long scope rails, and they also have holes to accept recoil arrestor pins if you really want to clamp your mounts down. The only thing to be aware of is if you use a longer scope, be careful that it doesn't obstruct the pellet loading bay. The fixed match grade barrel actually features an integral silencer, and it works pretty well, although you're never going to completely mute down a spring powered airgun. It's also threaded to accept an external moderator, but I think that would just spoil the look of what is a very elegant airgun. To cock the gun, you push your fingers in behind the knurled cocking aid to free the underlever, and then draw it all the way down until it locks into place. The shorter carbine proportions of this gun do mean that leverage is reduced, and that makes for quite a heave. But then this is a full-powered adult-sized gun, and the stroke is still very smooth. The cocking stroke exposes the breech for direct loading to the barrel. It looks a bit of a fiddle, but it's actually quite easy once you've had a bit of practice, and it's easy enough to roll pellets out if you happen to drop one in there. Once it's loaded, you push in the safe lock bar to disengage the anti-bear trap mechanism, and then just push the underlever home until it clunks into place. That anti-bear trap mechanism is designed to keep your fingers safe while you're popping pellets into the breech. The problem is the ratchet makes quite a lot of noise, which is irritating if you're out hunting and trying to keep quiet. The good news is that if you push in the safe lock bar while you pull down the underlever, you override the system and it comes down quietly and smoothly. Once you let go of the bar, the bear trap mechanism's re-engaged, so you're still safe to reload. Then you push it back in again, return the underlever, and you're ready to shoot. Cocking the gun also engages the auto safety, which is conveniently located at the back of the cylinder. Once you've pushed the safety off, you can't reset it by pushing back from the opposite side, but you can re-engage it by drawing the underlever back down until it clicks back out. The trigger blade has a slight curve and it's comfortable in the finger, though I don't know why Air Arms have gone to the trouble of tapering it almost to a point at the front, when I think it would have been better absolutely flat. That aside, the TX200's adjustable two-stage trigger unit is one of the best. The short, fairly light first stage comes to an abrupt halt, then it's a very clean, crisp let-off in the second stage. It's better than predictable. With practice, it becomes subconscious to operate, and that's straight from the box with no tinkering. So, the TX200 looks smart, and it's very well engineered. Let's have a go at some targets. Well, first thing I'd say is that the TX200 is an absolute pleasure to shoot. The firing cycle is smooth and fast, and the recoil's barely noticeable, and that makes for really accurate shooting. One observation, it is quite a heavy gun, weighing in at around about 4 kilos unscoped, and that does make it a bit of a handful for shooting freehand. But it is well balanced, and one thing I've always said is that a bit of weight does no harm in a spring-powered airgun, because it does help to damp down some of that recoil. And shooting rested, as I have been here, at about 20 metres, that group's probably within 10 millimetres, so that really is the proof of the pudding. I'm well pleased with that. The TX200 is quite a compact gun in its HC format, measuring up at 995 millimetres, or just a shade under a metre. With a retail price of around £400 for the beach stock, and about £70 more for the walnut option, it's up against some tough competition, including the Virak HW97 and the Walther LGU. But the British Air Arms can certainly hold its own against these guns. It's a high-spec, smooth shooting, fixed barrel springer that can rival the accuracy of any PCP, only without the added expense of charging gear. Thanks for watching. That's all for this week, but we'll be back again in a fortnight with more hunting, news and reviews. Don't forget to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. And if you aren't already a member of BASC, it's time you joined the organisation that works to promote and protect your sport.